Hello and welcome to this video on free no-code multi-group CFA in JASP. My name is Geiser. I'm an instructor and statistical consultant with QuantFish. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can run a free multi-group confirmatory factor analysis with measurement invariance testing using the free JASP software. JASP is a program that you can download for free from the internet. It works largely without code, without syntax. And so here we're going to learn how you can apply this to confirmatory factor analysis, specifically multi-group confirmatory factor analysis. The first thing that you have to do after downloading and opening JASP is import a data file. You can see I already have one open here. You can go to this icon, show main menu, if you don't have a data file open yet, and then you can open a file from a variety of sources, including your computer or already recently used files. JASP allows you to open data files in different formats, including SPSS data files, text files, Excel spreadsheets, and others. Once you have your data file open, you can go to the factor analysis module and then to a confirmatory factor analysis, which is the general option that you can also use for CFA when you do not have multiple groups. So that's the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to first define a standard single group CFA, and then later we will see how we can turn that into a multi-group analysis with measurement invariance testing. You can see that there's one factor already that is already labeled here, and so we can define our first factor by selecting indicators from our variable list. I'm going to click these over into the factor one field. You can change the label of the factor. For example, you can call this MRT, and then you can add a second factor by clicking on the green plus button. And then again, you can change the label of the factor. The second factor is ZVT, and it's measured by 4 indicators, ZVT-A through ZVT-D. So we're going to click these over, and then we already have a standard confirmatory factor analysis model for which JASP will then generate the output. So here you can see the output on the right-hand side under results for the single group CFA. You can see the factor model fits the overall group here well with a chi-square p-value of 0.256. So the model is not rejected for the entire group. Now we can proceed and select a multi-group analysis. We can do that by going to this obvious option here, multi-group CFA. So when we click on that, you can see right now we have not chosen a grouping variable. Therefore, this is a single group analysis by default. When you click on this field here, you can select a variable from your list for the multi-group analysis, so a grouping variable. In this case, my grouping variable is female, where 0 indicates male, 1 indicates female. And so once we select that, and then if we click again in our results field, then this analysis will be changed to a multi-group model. You can see that by looking at the factor model chi-square here. Now we have 16 degrees of freedom. The p-value is still non-significant, so this model fits the data well. Now, what model is that? This is a configural measurement invariance model, as you can see here under the invariance testing option. So that's the default model, or the first model that JASP estimates once you select a grouping variable. Now that makes sense because we typically start a multi-group analysis with measurement invariance testing with the configural model. What is the configural model? The configural model is one where you allow the factor loadings and intercepts and error variances to differ between groups. You're only assuming that you have the same number of factors and that the same variables load onto the same factors. So that's called configural invariance, and you can verify that by looking at the parameter estimates. When you look at factor loadings, you will find that the factor loadings for group male, which is the first group here, are different from the loadings for female, for those loadings that are freely estimated. Notice that the first loading on each factor is fixed to 1, and that's the case for both males and females. So those loadings are technically invariant because they are fixed to 1 in both groups, but the other loadings are different. For example, for MRT2 in group male, we have a loading of 0.772. The same variable has a loading of 0.657 in group female, so there are no constraints on factor loadings here in this model. We also get factor variances by default. Those are also allowed to differ between the two groups. We get factor covariances, those can differ, and we have error variances that can also differ. And then finally we have intercepts. Now you can see the tables with the intercepts and factor intercepts are empty right now, and the reason for that is that we have not chosen to include a mean structure into the analysis. We can do that by going to model options and then say include mean structure. When we activate that option, you can see now factor intercepts are provided. Those are all 0. In the configural model, we have no factor means. So really, those are not intercepts here. Those are factor means for the latent variables, and those are all 0 in the configural model. Again, that makes sense because the configural model does not impose equality constraints on intercepts or factor loadings. Therefore, it does not make sense to estimate and compare latent factor means. And so therefore, the default here is that they are all set to 0. But we get intercepts. And so the intercepts here you can see are allowed to differ between males and females for the observed variables in the configural model. Now, the next thing is then to go and test the next highest level of invariance, which is metric or weak invariance. Metric or weak invariance means factor loadings are constrained to be equal for the same variables across groups. So let's select that. And then when we go back to our output file, we can then see that under the parameter estimates factor loadings table, we now have equal factor loadings for corresponding indicators across males and females. And we can also take a look at whether the model still fits our data. You can see we get a chi-square value of 20.617 with 20 degrees of freedom for the metric invariance model. The p-value is 0.42, so this model is not rejected. And you could do a chi-square difference test against the configural model because those models are nested. Now next is then the scalar model. So scalar means we have not only equal loadings across groups, but also equal intercepts. And so you can verify that again by going to the last table. And you can see now that all intercepts for the observed variables are now the same across groups. And therefore, latent means can be estimated in the second group. So with the scalar model, it does make sense to compare latent means because now we have strong measurement invariance or scalar invariance where both the origin and the units of measurement are invariant or equal across groups. Therefore, latent means can be compared. And the way that JASP does it is it keeps the means fixed to 0 in the first group. So that group serves as reference, in this case, the male group. And it estimates the means in all other groups, in this case, female. And then we can interpret those means in group female as mean differences relative to group 1 or group male here. So this means that the mental rotations or MRT factor here has a negative mean difference, so that females on average scored lower by about 1 point relative to group male. And you can see that that mean difference estimate is statistically significant with a p-value smaller than 0.001, indicating that the average performance on this test was lower for females as compared to males. We find the opposite for the second factor, where the mean in group female is positive, indicating that females scored higher than males on this factor on average. And also this is significant. So the p-value here is also smaller than 0.001, indicating a significant mean difference in terms of females performing higher on the ZVT factor as compared to males. So this makes sense to compare because this is a scalar invariance model. And then finally, we also can test a strict model, strict measurement invariance, where also the error variances are the same. So first of all, we should look at the chi-square. You can see the chi-square still looks good. P-value is 0.252, so still non-significant. So even strict invariance here may be acceptable. And so then when we take a look at the error variances under residual variances, you will find these are now also all equal for corresponding indicators across the two groups. And again, that allows us also to compare latent means. We find the same results for latent means, if I can find them. When we go to factor intercepts, you can see again negative mean difference for the first factor, positive mean difference for the second factor, and they're both significant. So those are the same results as for the scalar model. And then also, JASP has an option for structural model invariance. So you can also test whether factor variances and factor means are equal across groups by clicking on structural. So let's see what happens then. So when we go up and we look at the factor variances, you can see those are now equal for corresponding factors across groups. Also the factor covariance is the same now across groups, and the factor means are the same since they're all set to 0 again now. So therefore, this would be a model of full invariance of everything. Equal loadings, equal intercepts, equal error variances, equal factor variances, equal factor covariances, and equal factor means. So complete structural and measurement invariance. Now, let's see if that fits. No, it doesn't. So this yields a significant chi-square of 103.647, 35 degrees of freedom. That's highly significant, indicating that the model of full measurement and full structural invariance is rejected. Now, this could be the case only because the means differ, which we already saw. The means differ significantly, the latent factor means across groups. So that alone could yield a significant overall chi-square. And or there could be other things that differ. So factor variances might differ and or the factor covariance. So this is how JASP allows you to conduct a multi-group confirmatory factor analysis with measurement invariance testing. I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Christian Geiser, and I'll see you in the next presentation.